Yo guys, what's up? Welcome back to r/IDontWorkHereLady, where Karen mistakes me for a statue and thinks I'm part of the decor. If you're new around here, please feel free to subscribe to my channel to join our awesome community. And now, let's get right into the stories. Filling water bottles makes me an employee, apparently. This interesting encounter happened about 2 months ago and I've been meaning to share, but I kept forgetting, so here it is. Background. I volunteer at a conference facility when they have large conferences and need extra hands. It is owned by a family of mine, so I don't mind running a few errands and helping out where I can. For most of my errand running, I use my mom's car and leave her with mine. We have the exact same car, but hers is a station wagon, mine is a sedan, and that extra boot space in the station wagon is perfect for mass shopping. Story. For this particular encounter, I was sent to buy 500 water bottles among other things for a conference that weekend. When I go to the store, I go to the manager to place the order and pay. Due to the large amount of bottles that I needed, he could not get them from the shelves, but rather he would get them filled. He said it would take about 45 minutes as he only had one of the workers who normally works at the water station instead of the normal 3 workers. I decided to go and do some other shopping in the mall. 45 minutes later I return and find that only 200 bottles had been filled, so I grab a nearby crate, sit down and help the guy that was filling the bottles. A little while later we finish and take the boxes of bottles to the car, and about halfway through the loading the guy I was with was called back into the store, so he left me with the trolley of water to finish up. As I finish and close the boot, I feel a tap on my shoulder. I turn around and see an old lady, OL. OL, show me where your leaks are. Me, excuse me? OL, don't be stupid boy, just show me where the damn leaks are. Me, oh no sorry, I don't work at store name. OL, don't lie to me boy, I saw you in the store filling those bottles and now loading them in this customer's car. You're even wearing part of the uniform. I was wearing 10 sweatpants and a black New York hoodie. Store uniform is black slacks and a black sweater with the logo on the front and back. Me, oh no, I'm the customer and this is my car. OL, I'm going to report you to your manager for lying to me. Me, but I'm... OL grabs the car keys from my hand and starts marching to the store. She takes about 3 steps while my jaw dropped. I shout, can you at least lock the effing car? She spins around and actually presses the lock button. After making sure the car was locked, I walk in after her to try to retrieve my keys. I find her talking to the chilled manager who I know from previous large shopping trips. OL waving the keys. This employee of yours is refusing to help me and is claiming this car is his. You should fire him and call the police because I'm sure he's trying to steal it. CM looks at me, looks at the keys in OL's hands and after a moment says, I will be calling the cops, but only because you have stolen his car keys, effectively stealing his car. OL, there's no way this boy owns a Mercedes-Benz. CM, actually ma'am, I've helped him put things in that car. It is indeed his. Should I still get the police here? He's only ever seen my car, not my mom's, but the keys are identical. OL drops the keys, turns around and does her best impression of a scuttling crab inspired by Usain Bolt. CM apologizes for the fiasco and offers a chocolate bar as an apology. I happily accept the chocolate bar and walk out of the store and see OL standing outside the store talking to someone about how she has been disrespected. That particular Karen was one of those young people are so rude nowadays, no respect. But anyway, let's continue. Lady assaults me over hot sauce. My son told me I should put this incident on this Reddit category, so here I go. I'm new here and don't know all the formats, but nonetheless here we go. I'm an early bird, waking up at 3:30 AM to prepare a fresh meal for my husband to take to work. He works at 4:45 AM and we have one car, so he and I go off to his work and I drop him off. I'm in need of a few things from the store, so I head off to pick them up from a local grocery store that is open at 5 AM. It's important that I note I am wearing yoga clothes and a loose tunic, white and grey. because I'm going home and doing my yoga to maintain my usual routine. As I'm walking through the almost empty store, there are mostly stock people working hard and a lady who's also my friend up front at self-checkout. I love shopping this early because it's so quiet and peaceful, and it fits into my love of calm in the morning. I stop in the condiments area to get some ketchup. Then comes Crazy Hot Sauce Lady. HL Hot Sauce Lady, me for me. Hot Sauce Lady loudly exclaimed, "Why is this hot sauce so expensive?" Me, smile and shrug, then turn back to minding my own business. HL yelling now, "Hello, why are you ignoring me?" Me, I cannot ignore you because you're being very loud. Also, I don't know why it's that price. I don't work here. Everyone who works here is wearing blue and orange, so do I look like that? HL, "Bull, I saw you talking to the lady up front." Me, yes, I'm a regular here and she's my friend. HL, "So you work here, but you're off right now? So you could tell me why it's so expensive." Me, I'm sorry, but as I said before, I'm a regular shopper here and do not work here. What do you think I can explain about the price that will make a difference? What can anyone do for you about the price? HL, "You're I will not use the word, but it rhymes with witch. Why won't you help me?" Me, I reply sternly, "Again, I cannot help you. Now please go away." With a red and irate face, I mean she could be a cartoon with steam coming out of her ears, Crazy Hot Sauce Lady slams her cart into mine, causing it to hit my stomach, tearing my shirt and scratching/bruising me. I pushed her cart off mine, and at this point I had to control my temper and walk away. I started going directly to the front to tell my friend who's stationed at self-checkout to call the police. I had left my phone in the car, and as I'm on my way there, HL is reaching into my cart and throwing my items on the floor. Thankfully my friend had already heard the commotion and decided to go ahead and call the police. One of the guys who was stocking the shelves came over and got between HL and I. She proceeded to scream like a toddler, throwing a tantrum, and started provoking the stock guy by getting in his face, screaming profanities and racist comments, poking him in the chest. This guy is at least 6'2" and 270 pounds, 2 times her size. This went on for what seemed like forever, about 15 to 20 minutes until the police arrived, catching her red-handed, assaulting the poor stock guy, who was super patient and calm despite her abuse. The police go over and immediately put her in handcuffs. Surprisingly, while she was cuffed she calmed down, but lied and told them that I assaulted her. They look at her with disbelief, and I'm sure it's because of what they just witnessed, and the police ask me to wait while they detain her. I did, and after reviewing the security footage and speaking with witnesses, she was arrested and charged with 2 counts of assault, vandalism and larceny, as the security footage caught her putting things in her bag without paying. And the kicker, the hot sauce was $1.75. And yes, you read that correctly. She freaked out over $1.75. Just wow. The police told me that they believed that she was under the influence of some type of drug, although that was not verified as far as I know. Anyway, I've never had anything like this happen until it did. Hopefully, nothing like this will ever happen again. And the thing is, why did she complain about the price of the hot sauce if she was just stealing things anyway? That's a question that I would like to have answered. Have a good day, everyone. You really gotta give props to the OP for not freaking out and staying so calm. What would you have done in that situation? I think I would have flipped out, honestly. But anyway, if you have watched until here, please don't forget to post some stars in the comments and like the video if you enjoy my content and want to support me. But anyway, let's move on. No, I'm not a statue. This happened back when I was 20, I was 6'2" with long jet black hair and was dressed in whatever band t-shirt I was listening to at the time. Probably Nirvana, it was the 90s. There is this barbecue restaurant nearby that really plays up the Western theme. Stuffed armadillos, rattlesnakes, spurs on the wall, very kitschy. By the way, I've never heard the word kitschy before, because in German we actually have the word kitschig, which pretty much means the same. But anyway, let's continue. In addition to making some killer barbecue and the best pecan pie, they will also smoke meat for you if you bring it in. It has been a family tradition to take them a turkey and have them smoke it for us on Thanksgiving. So much better than oven roasted. I dropped off the turkey a couple of days ago, and the day before Thanksgiving I went to pick it up. When I arrived, they asked if I wanted it sliced. Sure, saves me a step. They mention it should take but a few minutes. Now this is the days before cell phones, ancient I know, so I just step to the side, cross my arms and stare at the menu overhead, just kinda zoning out. A lady in her mid-30s walks up to me and just stares at me, hard. Just as I am about to say something, she pokes me right in the chest. Her eyes got really big, she slaps me and she shrieks. That's the only way to describe the sound she made. She shrieked and slapped me. The entire restaurant turns to try and find the source of the sound as she's still shrieking. Me? What the absolute F? Her?
You, I need to talk to your manager.
Me? Ma'am, I don't work here, and why the hell did you slap me? Her?
You can't just go around scaring people. Whose idea was it to have you try and scare customers?
The manager does come out because obviously he heard her yelling. The lady finally comes down. Apparently, she initially thought I was one of those cigar store Indian statues, Native American, and was part of the decor. After realizing I was not, in fact, a statue, she thought I worked there and had dressed up as a Native American. I had a good tan going and the aforementioned long jet black hair to scare people. Now for a twist, she did calm down, and after talking with the manager, realized I was just a customer waiting for some food. She apologized profusely and insisted on buying me a pecan pie. All is well, that ends in pecan pie. By the way guys, you know, in Germany we don't really celebrate Thanksgiving, but we do love to eat turkey. So I'm curious, what do you guys usually eat for Thanksgiving? Is it only turkey or also something else? But either way, let's continue, we have more to read. Don't work here and cannot understand you, sir. Okay, I got one, but I'm not a native speaker, so please excuse my poor English. Context, I'm French and I live in Paris. So, I was supposed to meet a friend after work for a drink that day. But as usual, she was goddamn late, like very late, and I ended up with an hour to kill. No problem, I was near the Haussmann Boulevard, so I went straight to Galerie Lafayette to browse around all the things I cannot afford. I usually avoid that place because it's crowded with tourists and not very cozy. But there is several floors of stuff to look at, so perfect to kill time. So here I am, walking around, browsing. Oh, and one thing you need to know, I had an important meeting at work that day, so I was still wearing a black suit with a red tie. Anyway, I was looking at some shirts and heard a deep man's voice speaking English very fast with a really thick accent. It took me some time to notice that he was talking to me. I turned around and saw this very big fellow, still speaking very fast, looking at me. I tried my best, but I swear, despite all my efforts, I had no freaking idea what he was saying. I'm not very good with English, but I usually can understand people from all over the world. But not this guy. I could barely catch one or two words like size and shirt, but that's all. The mix between the accent and the way too fast pace was very difficult for me. He was talking so fast that I had to wait maybe a minute to be able to answer. Between two breaths of the big guys, I managed to say, "Sorry, I don't speak English." Obviously, it was not something I should have told him. He started to speak even louder, his face turned red, and his arms were flying around all over the place. I started to panic a little, but understood that the big guy was asking me for help with his shopping and was not pleased by my performance. I managed to snag another spot between the sentences, just enough to say, "Sorry, I don't work here, sir." Another mistake. He started to speak even louder and faster. I was not sure it was possible, but I was wrong. But I had no doubt anymore. This dude was angry at me, like very angry. Finally, an actual employee came to my rescue, wearing, as you can guess, a suit and tie, but before he could say anything, the big fellow started to yell at him while pointing a finger at me. The poor employee looked at me like, "What the F is happening here?" and told me in French, "What does he want? I don't understand him." Surprisingly, hearing people speak in French made the big fellow even more angry. We tried to explain the situation, but all we got in return was a very long gibberish. or gibberish, I forgot, and the word manager. At this point, a woman comes to us with 2 teenagers by her side, and for 1 second I had hoped that she could calm down the big fellow or help us communicate. My hope crashed down when the lady started to speak with the same terribly thick accent and as fast as the big fellow. Probably the rest of the family, I thought. So here we are, 2 people screaming in English, pointing fingers, waving arms, calling for a non-existent manager and throwing a surprisingly big amount of F in between. I was about to leave, but felt sorry for the poor employee. He was looking around for more help, but nobody came to the rescue. We tried everything, our best English, even Google Translate with our phone, but Big Dude was not interested in what we had to say. It became a little bit funny when we started to comment the situation in French. I told the employee, "Do you get anything out of this?" "Nope, but I guess you did a terrible job here, mate. Glad you don't actually work here. Look at his face, it's so red." Man, I hope he's not going to make a heart attack. It made us laugh a little. Terrible mistake again. Big dudes don't like laughing. After a few minutes of this very awkward situation, the big dude's family dropped a few articles on the floor and gave us a couple more Fs and left us. On my way out, I saw them dealing with the security staff, and this time they were the ones yelled at in French. Made me smile. You know what always fascinates me is when people from non-English speaking countries go to other countries and assume people there speak their native language. I have a friend who loves to travel, for example to France or to Spain, and he says the first thing he tries is to speak German with them. He does not even try English. Personally, I think that's just super disrespectful, but maybe that's just me. Either way, that's all the I Don't Work Here Lady content I have for you today. We will now continue with r/Tales from Retail, and I got a few nice, wholesome stories for you. If you tell her that it was me, I will have to come back here and smack you. Sorry if this story seems a bit choppy, it happened a while ago and I'm going off of rough memory. This happened last year during the Canadian Thanksgiving holiday and I was at a frozen food store. One of our locations is in a mall right next to a grocery store. One day I was helping an older lady, who I will refer to as NL for nice lady, and I am me. I had helped NL for a little while, then she was ready to check out. Nice lady, "Can you please break this 20 into 2 $10 bills? Me, sure. I did just that and then handed them to her, but she gave them right back to me. Please keep one and give the other to your nice coworker. She insisted, so I went along with it and thanked her profusely. NL, "What's your mother's name?" Me, name. NL, "That's really nice. My name is some name, Jane. I don't feel like a same name anymore because I'm old, but my grandma chose the name same name because she thought I looked purple when I was born. What's your mother like?" I told her about my mom. She reached into the cart she had from the nearby grocery store and pulled out a bouquet of flowers she had bought from there. NL, "She sounds very lovely. Please give her these and tell her that they are from me." Me, "Oh, thank you so much. I know she will love them. I honestly cannot say they are from me though. I would love to tell her about you." NL, "No, you will say that they are from you. If you tell her about me, I will have to come back and smack you." I chuckled and promised to lie, and she smiled. NL, "Remember, the Lord is always with you." Then she walked out and I have not seen her since. I told my mom the truth, but only because I did not want that story to die. That lady is much too wholesome to be forgotten. Interesting story actually, because in many stores that I know, employees are usually not allowed to accept anything from customers. But maybe that's different in Canada. The best phone call I had all day. I work in a shoe store as an assistant manager. I carry a store phone on me, so I can answer it wherever I am in the store. Today the phone would not stop ringing. People wanted to know what time we closed and where we are located and a ton of shoe checks. So the phone rings and I answer it and it sounds like a little kid. K will be kid. Kid, hello, do you carry all black high top Vans for kids? Me, let me check for you really quick. I'm sorry, we only have the low top Vans in all black for kids. K, okay, well, I like those too. Me, what size shoe do you wear? Kid, 1.5. Me, okay, so I don't have a 1.5, but I do have a size 2. Kid, okay, that sounds good. Me, would you like me to hold it for you? Kid, yes please. Me, okay, what's your name? The phone got really quiet, like he was hesitating, then I heard someone in the background. It was his mom. Mom, give her your name. Kid, Tyler. Me, okay Tyler, I'm going to hold this shoe for you, so when you and your mom come in, just come up to the counter and tell us you have a shoe on hold under your name. Kid, okay thank you, have a nice day. Me, absolutely, you have a nice day too. It was the most wholesome phone call I have ever experienced in my 4 years of retail. I love that his mom had him call and ask about his shoes. Today was a good day. Personally, I think that's something that many kids nowadays lack, which is independence, so definitely respect for that mom for teaching it early on. Alright guys, the last story as a little bonus will be from our own subreddit posted by Stacy Rose and is concerned with entitled people. The story is titled "Entitled Teenagers Playing with the Motorized Carts That Are Meant for Disabled People. I lost my temper with them." Last night I decided to head to Walmart to stock up on supplies for my upcoming camping trip. When I got in the parking lot, there were a bunch of kids that had to be something like 14 or 15 years old, riding those scooters Walmart has for the elderly or handicapped people, and I was ticked. What if there was someone that needed one of those carts? I got out of my car and instead of heading to the entrance of the store, I started yelling at these kids. Now I'm not proud of this, but I was ticked at these entitled brats, and I was yelling about how they are not go-karts, they are not toys for a bunch of punks to play with. I was screaming at them all to ride those carts back in the store where they belong and telling them that they are there for the disabled, handicapped or elderly. Most of the kids were shocked that someone was actually yelling at them. One kid looked at me and said "Rum rum" as he was getting ready to try to ride the cart some more, but I stepped in front of him and stopped him. Then he said,
"What the F, lady? We're not hurting anyone."
And I said, "You are hurting someone that might actually need those carts. Did you think of that?" About half the kids started putting the carts away, but not this boy. He was determined to have his fun, but I was more stubborn than he was. I have family who are disabled and need those carts. As we were still yelling, a group of people came out of the store and saw the ruckus and just stood around watching, including employees. Some of the kids tried to reason with the other kid, telling him, "Come on man, she's right, why don't we go to my house and game instead?" This really was not any fun, besides these carts don't go that fast. But that boy remained stubborn, so did I. I refused to move. The rest of the kids put the carts away, and while we are still in the parking lot, an old couple pulled into the handicapped spot and an old man with a cane came up to us since we were closer than the carts inside the door and said,
"May I have that cart, Sonny?"
But the boy just yelled, "No!" I lost it. I screamed, "Get your lazy butt off that cart now and give it to this gentleman. He needs it. You don't." The kids started laughing, and finally some employees decided to call security to intervene. A lot of the other kids scattered when they saw security, but some stayed trying to get the kid off the cart. The people standing around were yelling too, telling the boy that the carts were not toys. This boy, oh my god, he pushed the old man on the ground and started laughing. Security ran up and grabbed the boy. The other kids helped the old man up, apologizing to him for their friend's behavior. They looked at their friend and said, "What the F man, that was the cruelest thing you could have ever done. We are done with you, hope you go to juvie." And they helped the old man in the cart. They apologized to me, telling me they understood why I was upset and that they should not have played with the carts. Apparently, it was the kid who was fighting with the security officer's idea at the time. They stayed and accepted whatever punishment they would give, but the security let them off with a warning and told them all to go home except the boy they had. They asked for his parents' phone number, but he refused. A lady that witnessed it all came up and said,
"I know that boy, he's nothing but trouble. I know his parents too, I will call them for you."
The security thanked her and allowed her to make the call while they took the kid to the security office. I proceeded to head into the store, still feeling very angry, but ashamed too that I let myself lose my temper like that. I kept thinking to myself how I was never like that when I was that kid's age. I kind of feel bad for his parents, but I hope he can get some kind of help. I did not see the boy after I finished shopping, but I decided to apologize to the employees that witnessed my tirade, but they told me they understood and to not worry about it, that sometimes things happen that are out of control. Apparently, security was already getting ready out to handle those kids, but when they saw me walk towards them and confront them, they decided to wait back a few minutes to see what would happen. I got my supplies for camping and headed home. I'm still not proud of my behavior, but when I saw those kids playing with those cards, I just saw red for some reason. I know I should have handled it better. Maybe I should have went in the store and told an employee instead of yelling at a bunch of teenagers. But no, I handled it all wrong. I hope I don't lose it like that ever again. Have any of you ever lost your temper over something you have witnessed? If you can you let me know what it was? Thank you. Have a nice day. To be honest, in my opinion, I don't think you have handled it wrong at all. Those teenagers acted like D-bags and they deserved what was coming. But either way guys, that is the last story for today. I hope you enjoyed the content. And if you did, please leave me a like and subscribe to my channel because that helps me tremendously.